Golden State Valkyries got against the Fever, but I don't know what it is. I believe it's Stephanie White play calling, the way she's orchestrating her offense, and defensively, they just can't do nothing at all. I get why she do certain schemes defensively, but at some point you have to talk to Breon January like, hey, look here, player, this ain't working. And that's exactly what she need to do. Now, with that being said, we have Sophie Cunningham exposing major news about WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert possibly being.
This is the ultimate breaking point. The complete and catastrophic collapse of the Indiana Fever coaching staff is unfolding right before our eyes, and the details allegedly leaking from the locker room are enough to leave fans speechless. We are witnessing what could become one of the most explosive and unprecedented controversies in WNBA history, and it all centers around a shocking alleged attempt to undermine one of basketball's biggest stars. For weeks, fans have suspected that head coach Stephanie White had a hidden agenda against Caitlin Clark. They pointed to questionable play calls, frustrating offensive decisions, and moments when a generational talent appeared to be left standing in the corner while veteran players missed shot after shot. But nobody, absolutely nobody, could have imagined the shocking lengths White was allegedly willing to go to in order to protect her own position. According to sensational new claims, White did not simply want to bench Caitlin Clark, she allegedly attempted to suspend her. Yes, that is the accusation, that Coach White actively plotted against one of the league's most celebrated young stars. However, she may have made one critical mistake. She pushed Caitlin too far. Now, according to this dramatic narrative, Caitlin Clark has delivered a powerful final message that could completely destroy Stephanie White's career. And as if that were not enough, WNBA star Breanna Stewart reportedly stepped into the controversy, helping ignite even more discussion about the entire situation. Do not skip a single second, because fans are demanding answers about what may be happening behind closed doors. Subscribe now as we break down the claims, controversy, and every explosive detail surrounding the WNBA's latest crisis. To understand how this situation allegedly reached such a breaking point, we have to look back at the disaster against the Dallas Wings. This was not viewed as an ordinary loss. Critics described it as a brutal, frustrating, and difficult to watch basketball game that, in their eyes, raised serious questions about Stephanie White's tactical decisions last night.
From the fourth quarter.
Sure. So from what you watched, what did you see about what the Wings did when it comes to being able to stop the people? Did that teach you anything about what you
He said,
yeah, I think Dallas had obviously a really solid game plan. They played well against Indy for the whole season, right? They won the series, Dallas. That's what they said on TV. See, check me out. But I think what they did well defensively was they limited them to one shot. When the ball went up, they made sure that there was a contest, high hand, and then went after. A walk had an amazing game, obviously being a huge rim protector. So we need that kind of presence, and knowing that there's different people on the floor and you have to guard them at different lengths. Some you have to be tight, some you have to be off.
Did you watch the Wings game last night?
She said it was the defense that pretty much did that to the Fever. Now, Breanna Stewart is one that has not shied away from unloading on the Indiana Fever. Now, with that being said, moving on to the next part of the video, we have to talk about this Kathy Engelbert situation. I believe this story is bigger than a lot of people think it is. This is very big.
Fans reportedly spent thousands of dollars to pack the arena, expecting to witness the high-energy, longer-range shooting brilliance of Caitlin Clark. Instead, critics felt Stephanie White had the team playing an incredibly slow, outdated, and frustrating style of basketball. According to the narrative, the ball was repeatedly taken out of Caitlin's hands, the pick and roll was rarely utilized, and the Wings were allowed to double-team her throughout the game without a meaningful adjustment to support the rookie star. The result was a Fever team that appeared completely overwhelmed and was embarrassed on national television. Fans viewed it as a coaching collapse of enormous proportions, and they made their frustration clear by booing the coaching staff. Social media quickly exploded, with countless fans calling for White to be fired, while the hashtag #FireStephanieWhite allegedly began trending before the fourth quarter had even ended. White was suddenly portrayed as being backed into a corner, knowing that her job could be at risk and that the basketball world was criticizing her decisions. But rather than accepting responsibility, according to these explosive claims, she allegedly attempted to create a dramatic cover-up and make Caitlin Clark the scapegoat. Supposed locker room leaks claim that, following the crushing loss to the Wings, Stephanie White became furious behind closed doors and tried to blame the defeat on Caitlin's execution. She allegedly accused Clark of being insubordinate, and then came the moment that reportedly sent the front office into panic. White supposedly approached upper management and demanded that Caitlin Clark be suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. Think about that. The coach being blamed for a poor game plan and criticized for the team's offensive struggles allegedly wanted to suspend the player many fans believe is helping drive unprecedented attention toward the WNBA. According to this dramatic storyline, White believed she could use her authority to silence Caitlin, control the narrative, and force the rookie into submission. However, that alleged plan reportedly collapsed in spectacular fashion, because the moment rumors of a possible suspension spread across the league, the entire basketball world erupted with outrage.
Basketball. I said last night was in the top 3 hardest games to watch of the season. It was brutal. God dog, last night was boring. In fact, I said last night during the watch party that only the WNBA could have a battle between what's supposed to be 2 of their top 5 biggest stars, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark. Only in the W could the WNBA figure out how to take a game like that, make it close for most of the game, and it be boring as hell. That's some W shit. That happens a lot in this league. A lot in this league. Vanderbilt fever. Caitlin White literally got tackled. Stephanie White just sits there with her arms crossed, sniffing and twitching. Congratulations, Stephanie Weatherspoon. Aw, damn. Shout out Teresa Weatherspoon. Whoa. Lethargic performance. That's on the coach. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Stephanie White, rhythm-killing circle the wagons offense. God. Just make one more pass. I dare you. Make one more pass. You all need a new coach, just saying. You simply can't just drive to the hoop every...
And that was the moment the situation supposedly reached an unbelievable turning point. Breanna Stewart, a multiple-time champion, MVP, and one of the most respected voices in basketball, appeared to decide that she had seen enough. Stewart is generally known for staying out of locker room controversies involving other teams, but according to this dramatic narrative, the alleged coaching situation had become so toxic and disturbing that she could no longer remain silent. Breanna Stewart reportedly set the internet ablaze after addressing the controversy in a shocking and unfiltered way, directly questioning Stephanie White's credibility. She allegedly pointed to the Fever's disastrous performance against the Dallas Wings and described the situation in devastating terms. According to the claims, Stewart said, "What we are watching in Indiana is an absolute disaster. You do not punish a generational talent for your own failure to adapt. You do not threaten to suspend a player who is bringing millions of new eyes to our game simply because your ego is bruised. It is a disgrace to the game of basketball." The internet reportedly exploded, with Stewart's alleged comments appearing to validate the concerns fans had been expressing for weeks. For an active superstar and respected champion like Breanna Stewart to publicly criticize the situation was portrayed as a devastating blow to Stephanie White's reputation. Supporters claimed it proved the controversy was bigger than a fan theory, and that serious internal problems were allegedly damaging the Indiana Fever. The front office was then portrayed as entering a state of panic, fearing that the backlash surrounding a potential suspension could become impossible to control. According to the storyline, the reaction from fans, sponsors, and the wider basketball community could have created enormous pressure on the franchise and even drawn attention from the league. Stephanie White was suddenly depicted as powerless, with the alleged plan to silence a superstar collapsing in public view, while the entire basketball world watched the controversy intensify.
David, because he spoke a lot and reacted to what Sophie Cunningham said about Kathy Future in the league. Let's listen to
Sophie
Patrick.
Cunningham hints at WNBA commissioner shakeup as she goes after Kathy Engelbert. I do feel like as a whole that could be a position that's maybe open at the end of the year. What are you talking
Boom,
about?
told you.
That means the commissioner positions may be open at the end of the year. She added, Kathy Engelbert's done a lot of good things But with where our league is trying to go, I feel like you just want someone who also wants that. That's up to the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, at the end of the day. Sophie Cunningham is calling out directly saying, Adam, at the end of the day, you're the top brass. You got to make a decision.
I was thinking about this the other day, and it's almost as if this was a plan, Tom, like an attempt to bring some attention to a sport. Yes, they're making the money, but it's just unwatchable. Look at the attention, guys. This is, I think, what, the fourth week we're talking about it. We have so many issues that we talk about. They're bringing this, they're doing that, transgenders this, all this type of situation.
Yeah.
I think this might be a real purposeful ploy to bring people and eyeballs and everything. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they actually let some biological men come on that court, because at least it would make it watchable. I tried, I'm not even joking, I tried to watch a couple of minutes, and just watching, what's her name? Reese? What's her name?
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese laying up. It's
Some
such.
people called her. She's good. She's like the Jordan of.
Yeah, the Jordan. I think it was Ari Spears. He said something like she looked like a baby giraffe trying to stand. Like, you know, they can't even move. I think it's just all a ploy because it's unwatchable. But it's like the attention that they're trying to get is unbelievable. But I respect Sophie Cunningham because, Tom, what's the word that you said?
Authentic and fair.
And there's two words too. I'm gonna add on top of that. Common sense.
Ooh. That was Patrick.
But the final nail in the coffin, according to this dramatic narrative, did not come from Breanna Stewart or the furious fans. The most devastating blow allegedly came from Caitlin Clark herself. For weeks, Caitlin had been portrayed as the ultimate professional, taking the high road during press conferences and refusing to respond to what supporters viewed as passive-aggressive remarks from her coach. However, after allegedly learning that Stephanie White had attempted to have her suspended, the situation reportedly became the final straw, and the gloves were finally off. Caitlin Clark supposedly did not wait for a carefully crafted PR statement or hide behind her representatives. Instead, she allegedly stepped directly in front of the cameras, stared into the lens, and delivered a cold, calculated statement that, in this storyline, could have severely damaged Stephanie White's future in Indiana. With complete confidence, Caitlin reportedly said, "I came to this league to elevate the game. I put in the work every single day, and I expect the people leading this team to have that same commitment to winning. But when the focus moves away from winning basketball games and toward locker room politics, we have a serious problem. You can try to silence me, and you can try to blame me for a system that is fundamentally broken, but the film does not lie, and the fans are not blind. I am here to play basketball, and if the current leadership is threatened by that, then they are standing in the wrong arena." According to the viral narrative, the impact was immediate. It was presented as a powerful MIC drop moment, with Caitlin's words described as a devastating and masterful public response that left the entire basketball world stunned.
So there's an inside lane right here. Caitlin Clark is about to hit this lane. Stephanie White knows it. Boom, lane, lane, lane. Now, Caitlin Clark did get the shot block, but I believe she was fouled on that play. But it's plays like that, and then it's situations like this that I believe Caitlin Clark is subliminally telling us she do not like Stephanie White. I don't give a damn what no one says. What no one says, bro. She ain't rocking with her, dog. Now, Kelsey Mitchell and Stephanie White was all laughs after a loss today. It was all smiles in the presser. They trying to, like, not be mad, but they mad. Now, I'm not finna play this whole press conference. We're gonna watch some of it. Shout out to Tony Eastman. If you guys ain't subscribed to his channel, make sure you guys going on over there and show that brother some love. We finna listen to some of this, and we're gonna dissect it. We're not gonna play the whole 9 minutes.
Kelsey, obviously.
So y'all see smiles, smiling faces. Lexi even smiling. Everybody smiling. Why are we smiling right now? What is it to be happy about? Why we happy? Y'all just lost to one of the worst teams in the league. But we smiling.
Kelsey, obviously, not the result you all wanted, but personally, you set the record for consecutive games tonight. Let's go through your last couple of days that have been kind of, up and down after Toronto, and then what's it mean to set that?
I think that it's a part of the game. So for one, I just want to, congratulate my team for making me look good. But I think ultimately it just
all smiles, thanking her team for making her look good because the offenses ran through who? Kelsey.
Caitlin did not scream, and she did not use profanity. Instead, she relied on what the narrative described as cold, hard facts, emphasizing that the film does not lie. Her message allegedly directed everyone's attention back to the disastrous game against the Wings, challenging the front office to review the footage and decide between the coach's approach and the future many fans believe Caitlin represents for the WNBA. According to this dramatic storyline, her comments were more than just a statement. They were presented as an ultimatum, with Caitlin seemingly telling the Indiana Fever organization, "It is her or it is me." The alleged fallout for Stephanie White was described as catastrophic, with claims that the locker room had completely turned against her and that veteran players who had once supported her were now distancing themselves from the controversy, fearing the growing public relations disaster. Reports within the narrative even suggested that the front office was preparing to take serious action against White, arguing that few coaches could survive a public controversy of this magnitude. Supporters claimed that criticism from Breanna Stewart, combined with Caitlin Clark's powerful public response, had placed White under unprecedented pressure. In the most dramatic version of the story, Stephanie White's legacy was said to be in ruins, with critics claiming she would no longer be remembered for her coaching achievements but instead as a bitter and jealous coach who allegedly tried to suspend Caitlin Clark out of spite, only to be publicly exposed when the entire situation exploded.
Because it's unwatchable, but it's like the attention that they're trying to get is unbelievable. But I respect Sophie Cunningham because, Tom, what's the word that you said?
Authentic and fair.
And there's two words too I'm going to add on top of that. Common sense.
Ooh. That was Patrick David. Now, this is what Fox is saying.
Silence for advocating for women's sports. Furthermore, the WNBA and its partners may have exposed themselves to a legal liability by censoring fans' viewpoints. Your first reaction to this, Kaylee?
Well, I think they're absolutely right. You know, to Sophie's point about the lack of leadership in the league right now, it really seems like leadership in the league, whether it's Engelbert or other officials involved, are too cowardly to take out their frustration with Sophie directly. So they're taking out their frustrations on her fans instead, whether that's making them cover up their XXXY shirts or making them take down posters in support of Sophie Cunningham at some of these games. It's completely inappropriate because theirs are the only viewpoints that are being silenced by the league right now. And, you know, I hope that the lesson that some of the other WNBA players or even female athletes in general take from this entire saga and from Sophie's example is that there's no point in trying to be neutral on this issue. We think about Caitlin Clark. Look, I get it. She doesn't want to wade into what she believes is a cultural debate. She wants to focus on playing the game instead. But has that made the players who directly target her every single time that she enters the court, has that made them any more nice to her on the court? Has that made her be targeted even less? Has it made the league officials more willing to publicly defend her? No, she's still getting the exact same treatment as before. So you might as well find the courage of conviction here and do the right thing.
Yeah, and look, I know it Independent Women features your leadership, and I'm wondering if there are other women across the country and consortiums like that who are ready to come out and join Sophie Cunningham very publicly. Your last quick thought, we'll move forward.
Yeah, I mean, female athletes are involved in this debate whether they want to be or not, because the central question is whether we as women have the right to our own distinct spaces in sports teams. So good for Sophie for speaking up, and I hope others will join her.
And the irony of that, Kaylee, we were told for so long as a country, women in this country,
The WNBA is reportedly buzzing right now, and this drama appears to be far from finished. Now, I want to hear from every single person watching this video. So head straight to the comment section and let your opinion be heard. Do you believe Stephanie White should face immediate consequences over the alleged attempt to suspend Caitlin Clark? What are your thoughts on Breanna Stewart reportedly speaking out and defending Caitlin? And just how powerful did you think Caitlin's final statement was? Drop your thoughts below because the reaction from fans could become a major part of this ongoing conversation. If you want more coverage and updates surrounding Caitlin Clark and the latest WNBA storylines, smash the like button and subscribe to Clark Fever Hoops right now. Turn on your notifications as well, because if any major developments happen, we will be ready to cover them. See you in the next one, buddy.